Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now, let's go, baby. Welcome back, everyone. This is the season finale for episode 10 of the new Disney Plus series, Men 97. And this is a spoiler review. So if you have not seen this series yet, pause this, but give me a thumbs up to help this channel grow. And watch the whole season 1 of Men 97 only on Disney Plus. Come back and check out all my spoiler review because I would love to hear your guys' opinion about the show, about each and every one of character, and where do you think this series is going to go next. So, y'all been warned. This is a spoiler review. So, let's get into it. The final episode begins with Charles Xavier and Magneto stuck in Magneto's one memory where they kind of first met. They were kind of colleagues. They were younger. You know, we see Magneto with a clean cut. This is before Charles Xavier was in the wheelchair, but it's just a memory. And we notice within this series that Magneto can't remember because of the cause of Charles Xavier's powers have affected him on his memory. When you can control somebody's mind like that, as powerful as Charles Xavier is. But this episode shows us how much they're like best friends or like brothers. And we see that no matter what Magneto feels or do, like even though like he's got this asteroid and they got the government like freaking out, like they're willing to have these missiles that they have saved for Magneto, and they were willing to launch those things, in which they did at the asteroids. And it's really weird to see that because of like there's Iron Man, Captain America, going along with it. And this is like a totally different story from like Captain America Civil War, where, Cap was against the US government on how to control superheroes and whatnot. But this is kind of like they're both on the same page. So this is definitely, as far as I know, not yet, but not MCU canon. But to see little simple things like that. But even then, Charles Xavier wants to show him that they're brothers and that it's not too late for Magneto to change and stop this madness. Because even though that Charles Xavier, uses his ability to force Magneto to redone what he did to the Earth, and all the Centaurs came back, and that's where we see in this episode that these Centaurs are actually attacking people, thanks to Sebastian, who feel like there should be consequences for siding with a mutant or being against their idea. So we see like Daredevil and Cloak and Dagger, battle these things, and that was pretty cool. And then, we see like, Black Panther, and I believe it's not T'Challa, but I believe it's the father of T'Challa, see these Centaurs, try to break into Wakanda, which that's never going to work out. But we see that. So even Sebastian knows that, he's going to have to make sure everybody, it doesn't stop his plan, because Captain America and Iron Man and the other Avengers will step up to face him, basically. And that's what they were trying to explain that by showing all these little events in this episode. And they may tease the X-Men versus the Avengers in an animation series like this, which I would not be surprised. But again, we see that Charles Xavier and Magneto, they do patch things up. But also in this episode, we see that Nathan and the other X-Men are captured. And this is a moment where I thought was really cool. So Nathan obviously has tried 200,000 or 200 million times, or just 200 times. I forget, but it was 200 something. Oh, 200 times. And try to stop this. And he watched, whatever version of his mother die. But luckily, out of 200 times, Jean Grey turns into the Phoenix. And it's really cool? It's like a water Phoenix. So it's all water. And in that way, they kind of show this is the good Phoenix. This is not the evil one that the Dark Phoenix has always been portrayed within live action, comic books, and the classic X-Men series too. And so this is like another evolution of the Phoenix within Jean Grey. And obviously, I agree with that, and I thought that was pretty neat. So it seems like either this is why I kind of think too. I think Madeline is alive, but I think she'll have, the Phoenix with the flames, and I believe Jean will have the new power, her new ability as the Phoenix, but with water. So it'll be water versus fire, which I'm okay with that. But that's what I think they're gonna do, because and we'll get more into it, but they are hinting a season 2 for X-Men 97. So that's why I think they kind of went that route, which is totally awesome. I can't wait to see those two battle if they get to it. But Sebastian takes Nathan's arm, one of his arms, and rips it off. And it's the metal arm, which is kind of reminds me of Bucky Barnes. But he takes that whole metal arm and makes a new armor suit for him. And he's flying. And, this is where we start seeing like a huge action-packed fight scene. For example, Roguelike knocked him in the jaw. And he still got it. He still got up and whooped her ass. And then Jubilee, she showed everybody and him that it's not, she don't just do 4th of July fireworks, burn his whole face. But he still got up. And, he was laying the smackdown on them. But they gave it them all. And, they all really personally do not like this guy for obvious reasons. So even their best hits, and they're going rogue on him. Like they're not holding back punches. Even Cyclops was going at it. But then we see like when with Beast Hank, he hijacked the Centile and he tried to use one against him, and we see Sebastian just lift up one of the boots. But then Cyclops, being a true leader, and Storm too, being a good leader as well, they try to talk to him, and he just showed us that he's not caring about this. Like, he even made a comment like they rather not, humans rather be dead than give birth to more mutants. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said something like that, but he showed us a new layer of his personality and his characteristics. Just saying that, like, he's so obsessed and he's insane that he's willing to make in his own mind, the ultimate sacrifice. Because they tried pleading with him. They said, "Come on, we can do this. Like, you can change. There's still a chance." And he's like, "You're not gonna change me. Like, you cannot salvation this. Like, I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I'm going to proceed with this." Like, and he went on and did it, because again, we saw those giant missiles that were made built to take down Magneto, and they tried this, and this was a thing, but it didn't work. And at the end of this, he jumped. I don't know if he's dead, but he just jumped. Like, he might have survived. But at the end of this episode, each member of the X-Men are in different timelines. Some are in the past and some are in the future. And I find that very interesting. They call it an E-Day, and even though it looks like they defeated Sebastian, but he might not be dead. I don't think he's gone. I don't think he's dead. I think he may be the reason why someone are split from the in the past and in the future. And what we saw, because we seen Forge with a billboard or a poster, which we're gonna get in the first topic, is Forge, and we see like him having some people who are still alive and available if he needs to form some type of version of the X-Men. But a lot of them he's got presumed dead or gone. Some reason he has Jubilee as AWOL. And the only reason why I think she went AWOL, I believe it's over Wolverine. That's one thing I can think of, or her new boyfriend, Roberto. But I'm not sure. But it's very interesting why she went AWOL. But she's younger, and so it's kind of like she lost her family, she lost her parents again in a sense, and that's probably one way to go with that. But to see that go down, I'd be really cool to see that. And we see Bischoff, and he tells Forge that, hey, some of these guys are in the past. Like, for sure, I know that Magneto, Rogue, and Charles Xavier are in the past. And that's where we see a young version of Apocalypse. And then we know in the present time, Apocalypse exists. And we know that Jean and Cyclops are in the future, where they meet their son again, Nathan, but as a boy. Or half, maybe preteen, teenager, but a child. But he's a little boy at this point. So that's very interesting. And how did Bischoff know? Well, obviously time travels, but how did he find the data and information and clues? It's still a mystery, and they left that day for a reason. And you know what I think, though? I think there's a lot of multiverse theories that I have, and so I'm gonna just throw out a lot of theories of what I think is going to happen within this series, because if they're teasing they set this up for a season 2, so I'm just gonna let y'all know that I'm gonna do a lot of theories. So here's one theory that I have about Forge and Bischoff. So we know these two guys are looking for the gang, the people, the X-Men, and the way Forge wrote this, and on his little board with pictures of the X-Men, I believe that at some point they're going to build a time machine, or they're going to use Quantumania. And I think this is where we may see like an Ant-Man in here in season 2 to help. And then I also believe that Apocalypse caused all this. And I believe Apocalypse from the present time. So it'd be during the time after all this and Genosha is still destroyed, just like where he was at. I believe Apocalypse is setting up to just be your classic villain, but to destroy the world, and then anybody who's not a mutant, or turn everybody into a mutant, because he is kind of like the first mutant ever, and a lot of his DNA and genetics have been throughout all time of history, so that he's kind of like the beginning of mutants, and that's how they always portrayed him. So I believe that he set this all up. I believe that he's been pulling the strings on Sebastian and Mr. Sinister, who lost everything, who lost everything. But I think Apocalypse is the one that caused all it, and I think he has a bigger evil plan. So that's where I think they're going to go with this. I think Apocalypse is going to be revealed being the mastermind, pulling all the strings, and getting it to where it needed to be at. And what I think about that is, I think Apocalypse is going to be, even though they have used this character in the live action, I believe that this season, season 2, is going to make people become more, refresh them, and I think he's going to become more of a popular villain, because I believe Marvel Studios, Marvel Animation is going to use this character better than they did in the live action X-Men film. So I think this is the right move, and I think this is the right character to go with, especially within the X-Men continuity. And I think this one's gonna succeed more. And so when they reintroduced him again in the MCU, people will have a better memory if they just watch the animation. Now, that's not going to stop people remembering the live action, of course, but I think after they see how they portray him in this series on Disney, I think people will be more excited to see him again in the live action. I think that's the kind of game plan that they're trying to shoot for within that. So I'm okay with that, and I think this is going to do very well on that part. Now, he had Wanda on there, and it said off-world. So here's another theory. I believe in theory that this is the same Wanda from the MCU. I believe that some way, somehow, they're gonna reveal it that she's from this, and this is gonna help connect her meeting her dad, Magneto, in the live action. Because it's been reported that they're gonna do a solo film with Wanda Maximoff. So this could be the key point of it, and this is like them planting a seed. So even in this, in the X-Men 97, she's off world, so she's gone, and they're letting you know she didn't die in Doctor Strange of Multiverse of Madness. So she's somewhere in another alternative universe, and it's how and where we're gonna find her, and how can they connect this to the X-Men as far as the MCU goes. So that's why I think they put that there, and they knew people were gonna pause this and look at it. So that's what I think. I believe, again, that this is Wanda that you've seen from all the live actions from the Marvel films, from the Avengers, Age of Ultron, Captain America: Civil War. This is the same Wanda from WandaVision on Disney Plus, and so forth and so forth. This is who I truly believe. This is the one that Elizabeth Olsen has been playing. This is the Wanda Maximoff that we're going to get. Now, which that leads me to my next theory. So this is theory number 3. I have a theory that this is the Wolverine that we're going to see in Deadpool and Wolverine. I believe the one that Hugh Jackman's playing is the Wolverine from X-Men 97. Because why are all the X-Men split up in different timelines, past, present, and future? So I truly believe that this is going to be connected to Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie, which is in theaters this year. So I believe that. That's what I believe. And it would make sense. It would make sense. You could connect it like that. It's not that hard. Because you could say, Marvel could easily say, tell a story explaining that, okay, everybody who you saw was in the past and present, but maybe Apocalypse purposely put these other characters in different alternative universes to switch up on them. And that's what I truly think on that. So you weaken the X-Men. I believe Apocalypse took their best ones and split them up in different timelines. So this gives him, Apocalypse, a chance to succeed his master plan. Also, I just want to add on to that theory too, is the fact that this could show us the TVA in season 2 of the X-Men 97. So they already been showing that there's other TVA departments, basically. So it don't need Owen Wilson as Mobius, because they have another guy who runs the TVA in Deadpool Wolverine. So who's running the TVA when it comes to X-Men 97? Because if they're breaking the rules with the multiverse and time traveling, these are the people who need to come down and, you know, arrest the mutants, the X-Men characters, you know, arrest Magneto, try to stop Apocalypse. I don't know. But that's one way they can do that. But I believe that this series has convinced me that this is the Wolverine from the new Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what I think is going to happen. And it would make sense to me. Now, what did I think about this whole season? I thought this was a great season. I thought X-Men 97 was great. I liked every episode. Even my least favorites, they were great. They were good. But they had a lot of better episodes, of course, out of 10 episodes. And the way they ended it, I'm really excited because they left it open and there's so much possibilities. And I just like the fact that this one's going to be kind of away from the MCU. But even though I made those theories, I think they will play an important part in the right time and the right films in the MCU of Marvel Studios. So it don't need to be fully connected, but it will connect when it needs to connect and make sense. And they're already made it clear that there's going to be some multiverse stories within this series. So I'm really excited, and I thought, you know, they brought this back and they did well. So I'm glad they did the X-Men very well, and I'm glad they gave them justice. And, you know, finished some stories that needed to be answered for all those years. So I'm glad with it. It was good. So if I had to give this an episode 1 out of 10, you know, I'm giving it a 10. If I had to give this whole season 1 out of 10, I'm giving it a 10. Great season. And I tell you what, season 2 has got a lot to live up to, because this season 1 had a lot of stuff, and I think Marvel fans, superhero fans, really enjoy this, and they're really excited to see what's next for Marvel. So they raised the bar so high, like it's gonna be struggle for them to make season 2 as good or even better than season 1. So, but that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace.